people think these days, giving them a luxurious feel or maybe something that reflects them. But have you ever felt, okay, let's say keeping it very minimal or maybe something which is Instagrammable or a Pinterest image and designing that space which is picture perfect, but still you feel uncomfortable or you feel, okay, I shouldn't be there in that space. Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah, a lot of time. In fact, one of the things I wouldn't claim that I don't refer Pinterest. You know, it is an archive of references, right? It's what you do of those references is what makes all the difference. And since I've also designed your house, you know that
Right.
I am somebody who's very against, let's do this on the wall. No, because at the end of the day, that doesn't reflect your personality. And more often than not, my clients have always come back to me saying that I look forward to coming to my house, because that's what is more important. All these terms, for me, these terms mean nothing, whether it's bohemian, whether it's minimal, whether it's neoclassical. If that doesn't truly stand for you and your liking, it doesn't mean anything. Following trend, you will be designing your space, so to say, every 2 years, 3 years, because you'll never be satisfied. But your house, or in fact for that matter even your office, is a place where you spend most of your time, and that needs to make you feel centered. It makes you feel focused and at the same time aspirational, right? Now, if you own a space, why should it talk about very generic things in life, right? For that you have a hotel, for that you have Airbnb facilities. Why would you want to do your house which is just because it's Pinterest worthy? It's not really worth it. So I would say yes, my take on picture perfect spaces is that they are imperfect, because if they don't vibe with you, they aren't perfect.
Yes.
So it's just that. And vibing should not just be about a day or two or a month, right? Vibing is, I look forward to going to my house, to my room, to my living room every single day. That for me is a picture perfect space. And even if that means a wall is chipped, so be it. I have retained walls with chipped edges,
Yes.
because somebody's pet has scratched and the pet is not there anymore. We've retained it because that's an emotional connect. Why should everything be?
I should actually not talk about much about retaining, because you know how many things we retain.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And also now let's talk about clients. Like as personalities, when you brainstorm with them, or maybe when you have your initial conversation, what are the emotional aspects that you consider maybe to take that project ahead?
So see, when I'm talking with clients, it's, of course, we have a very detailed conversation, which is verbal, of course, right? But when I am actually speaking to them, my noting is of a lot of their non-verbal language. How are they sitting? Whether they're on a sofa, they are comfortable sitting onto the floor, whether the feet is down there, very hoity-toity, or are they laid back? The body language talks very vastly about the kind of people you're going to be designing for, and it's very important you note that down, all right? And with that, they will be able to tell you what's making them comfortable and what's making them uncomfortable, without them realizing why is a certain place uncomfortable for them. And it could simply be the depth of the sofa is 1 inch lesser,
Right.
and it's still making them so uncomfortable. For us, 1 inch is nothing, right? If you talk in a whole bit, but when you talk about a personal experience, that 1 inch makes the entire difference to space. So it's just, when I meet clients and when I'm taking brief, a lot of designers these days do a lot of Zoom meetings. I prefer my first few meetings to be a one-to-one, because it's very important to understand their verbal language of communication, and even in person, because at the end of the day, when you do meet the person, you don't want to meet them as a fresher, as this project has started. So let that become, get done with in the start. So that's why my first few meetings is always personal. I make notes of all these,
Verbal
whether they
plus
have
non-verbal.
verbal plus non-verbal points. How is, what's the temperature of the AC, how fast is the fan, very small things, but I make note of all of this because that is when I'm designing solutions for them for their space, I also have an argument ready that, listen, this is what I saw, this is what I feel, and therefore this is what I'm proposing. And more often than not, my clients don't disagree.
That's an emotional connect, I feel.
Yes, yeah.
Swank way, that's how we roll.